Sheikh Mujib's 6-point formula, an analytical study of the breakup of Pakistan. Sayyid Humayun, the writer of 6-point formula, was brought up in Dhaka before 1971 and later studied for his master's degree in international relations and political science from the University of Karachi. He received his PhD from the University of Karachi in 1990. Sheikh Mujib's 6-point formula is a detailed study of why Pakistan failed to integrate as a unified state during the period 1947-71. Sayyid Humayun does not give the reader typical crap that Bangladesh was created because of a Hindu conspiracy. Instead, he describes with great logic why Bangladesh was created, how the simple demand for linguistic recognition was transformed into a struggle for succession. Sayyid Humayun's most thought-provoking contribution in recollecting the fact that while Sheikh Mujib's 6 points, which were branded as treason in 1971, something like these were first advocated by the Nawai Waqt newspaper of Lahore in 1952-53. This was when Nawai Waqt supported the idea that both East and West Pakistan should be absolutely free and independent states in keeping with the spirit of the Lahore Resolution and should link themselves in a confederation with only three subjects: defense, external affairs, and currency. This was something like the 6-point formula. This is from Nawai Waqt formula of 1952-53. Sayyid Humayun takes us back there. Sayyid Humayun starts with a background history of Pakistan covering the East-West alienation in the first three parts. The second major portion covers the issue of Bengali grievances with stress on language problem, the issue of economic disparity, Bengali representation in civil and military bureaucracies, all three interlinked with Sheikh Mujib's 6 points. One part is exclusively devoted to the authorship of the 6-point formula. One point is devoted to a detailed analysis of the original and amended 6 points. Other chapters cover the 6-point movement. The most important part covers the politics of tripartite negotiations over the 6 points. Humayun notes that Pakistan was not accepted by all sections of the Bengalis. However, he finds that initially this was the minority, that is the 25% Hindus, and a small minority of Bengali Muslims, intellectuals. Sayyid Humayun then proceeds to tell us how this minority became a majority by 1971. The picture that he presents is one of successive alienation, particularly accelerated by the 11-year-old Ayub martial law. He notes that Bengali grievances were genuine, substantial, and proves this assertion with concrete facts and figures. He notes that the sidelining of the only Bengali army general from Assam was discussed in the Constituent Assembly debates of 1956. Sayyid Humayun concludes that six-point formula was the logical outcome of the Bengali regional demands, and it boldly expressed the common urge of the Bengalis to preserve their distinctive cultural identity. Humayun adds that Mujib, intellectually speaking, was a mediocre and knew this. Thus, Mujib, instead of actively leading, resigned himself to the tide of history and did not make any conscious effort to restrain the Bengalis. This point is disputable since, as per Shaukat Hayat, refers the nation that lost its soul, who met Mujib many times in 1971. Mujib did make an effort to control the hardliners but failed. Here we can take a different viewpoint from Sayyid Humayun. We don't have to agree with him in any case. There are minor historical errors in this book, like Sayyid Humayun's assertion that Bengal army consisted of Bengalis in 1857 on page 192. This assertion, of course, is absolute nonsense because in reality the Bengal army had no Bengalis in 1857. Refers the history of Bengal Native Army up to 1895 by Lieutenant F.G. Cardew, Calcutta 1908. This is understandable since even in 1908, Cardew had to clarify that the Bengal army in 1857 had no Bengalis. There was, of course, a misconception even then. Sayyid Humayun's assertion that Bengal army was disbanded after 1857 and thus employment opportunities were denied to the Bengalis is also incorrect. This means that PhD scholars can write a lot of nonsense also. Neither was the Bengal army disbanded after 1857. It survived till 1895 when it was redesignated as Indian Army along with Madras and Bombay Army. Nor were Bengalis deprived of employment as Sayyid Humayun wrongly claims. This was so since there were no Bengalis in the Bengal army before 1857 nor afterwards. The pre-1857 Bengal army being a Hindustani army, while the post-1857 Bengal army being a Hindustani Punjabi Pathan army with greater Punjabization after 1885. The misunderstanding in this case arose since Bengal in 1857 was a province which stretched from Burma's western border till Peshawar. I may add that I recently met a retired Pakistan Army general who once again mistakenly asserted that the Bengal Army of 1857 was a largely Bengali army. This misconception, of course, persists, like we are hearing the very vitriolic and rabid Pakistani YouTubers taking the same stand that the Bengal army was Bengalis on vlogs, etc., in the YouTube, which is absolutely nonsense. Sayyid Humayun's book is compulsory reading for any student of Pakistan's political history, whether it is a layman reader or a specialist. Above all, it must be read by civil and military bureaucrats in charge of policy making and at military and civil service academies. It contains an excellent bibliography and a large number of references to contemporary newspapers. Sayyid Humayun deserves 100% marks for dealing with the East West Wing history during the period 1947 to 1971. This is a short review of Sheikh Mujib's six-point formula, an analytical study of the breakup of Pakistan, by Sayyid Humayun, published by the Royal Book Company of Karachi in 1995.